Morning. How y'all doing today? Well, my name's Tom, and well, I'm just a rambling Christian. This is the first time you've been here. Please stick around. We look at things a little different around here. Typically, I like to ramble before I get started. So, elections coming up. You got Camila, or Kamala, or whatever her name is, on one side. You got Trump on the other. Now, when Biden stepped down, that's basically throwing in the towel for the election, unless some way deep underhandedness happens. And I don't know if we'll put up with that again, if it occurred before, theories. But, that's proven. But I mean, I don't know. But, so I want to know who is going to win. Now, I say Trump has not been out 7 times yet, which I'm at times, and at times would be 7 times. I was thinking 7 years, 7 times. But what is the length of time on a times? A times and a times. How we're going to talk about that today. How can we get a time? So to figure out if Trump has been out them 7 times. Uh, Now let's look in Daniel today. Now we're going to look at Daniel. We're going to look at the church and what they're going to do here coming uh, really soon, like real soon, and talk about the beast. That's what we're going to talk about, really. But this is in Daniel. Now Jesus said, the only sign of the time, the only sign this generation will get is the sign of Noah. 3 days in the ground, of Jonah, 3 days in the fish, and then spit back out on the earth. Okay? Now that 3 days is 3,000 years. I've approximately been 3,000 years since I've walked here. Same with y'all. Okay? That's 3 days. You've been here. It's been 3,000 years since you've been here. Uh, for the Son of Man. Some don't honor the Sabbath, and such as this, and that is just coming back time and time, every time. Maybe perhaps I'm just the one arrested. Because I rested before I got here. I rested. I know who I was. I've said it before. I watched Jesus. I saw him take his last breath. And I was the dude at the pool being pushed into, waiting to be pushed into the water. Uh, I was born. I couldn't walk. My feet were, I was crippled, pretty much. Uh, and I have been burned from here down. No hair, not a stitch of hair grows on my legs from being burnt. You know what I'm saying? People would think I shaved, but I ain't had a stitch of hair on my legs ever. Uh, from being burnt, too, when I was 6 months, I believe it was. Uh, so, but I was that dude. The sin free, and his parents were sin free also. True. Anyway, uh, yeah, it's hard to believe. I know my real father's passed and my real mother both have passed. Uh, my mother was cremated. She's out. Sang with my real father, and he actually, before he passed, he was going around. He was a musician, uh, well, coal miner for most of his life, but he could sing and play guitar, and he used to go around the old folks' home and sing for them before he passed. Uh, that was what he liked to do. I found that out later, but both of them loved God, but didn't really have the apple. You know what I'm saying? They weren't eating the apple. They just believed in God and never really got into deep study and stuff like that. So they weren't eating of the fruit, so to speak. Just had faith that there was a God and that they were going to meet him. And that's all it takes, really, for those not called. They weren't called. If they'd have been called, they'd have been stuck in church just like the rest of her family. Uh, my my aunt, her sister, their kids, all that are still stuck in church. Hardcore stuck in church. So, anyway, that's who I was. I saw him die. But it came to me the other day. But, hmm, hmm, hmm. Anyway, let's look at Daniel. I'm rambling on. Now, I'm going to jump around. This is Daniel 7:23. I'm going to start at the fourth beast that rises up, which is now. And it says, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be a fourth kingdom on earth, which shall be different from all other kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth. Okay, now the first kingdom, Judaism. Second kingdom, Catholicism. Third kingdom, Islam. Fourth kingdom, Protestants. Okay, that's the fourth kingdom, Protestants. 4 kingdoms. Now, it says, and shall devour the whole earth. They'll kill everybody. You know what I'm saying? Catholics are trying to be inclusive, and Christians are going against that. You see what I'm saying? Like no other. Islam, Judaism's closed doors too. But Islam, you can join Islam. You can join Catholicism. But Catholics, their membership requirements are strict. They won't let you be a member of the church if you're not there regular, if you're not paying your tithes regular. Now, I know somebody who didn't make squat. I spoke of her before. And this church down here, she gave 10%. Win, lose, or draw, buddy. If her electric could get turned off, and she would pay that 10%. And then she went to him and she wanted to volunteer to help doing something within the church. And they told her that she didn't pay enough. And she was giving her 10%, but she's poor. You know what I'm saying? 10% of a poor person isn't very much. And the church didn't think it was enough that she was giving to allow her to be a member. They told her, you're not a member, and we don't allow non-members to volunteer within the church. And, you need to work on paying more and being here more and things like this. And she was there every time the doors open. She was there, she paid her tithes. And even if she couldn't pay this week, she would double up the next check. Always paid her tithe. I told her that's bullshit anyway, but she didn't believe me. But then they came to her after I told her that, and but she don't believe. Still don't believe. Anyway, then that's the way the church is. You know, they're cold-blooded killers. Cold-blooded killers. I mean, so cold-blooded. No life, no spirit in them at all. They're a blanket wash, man. And to that church, I don't know about. I'm just speaking of this exact because I know of it, and I wanted to go down there, man. My wife would let me. Man, I want to go down there. Whew, made me mad. But they're hellbound. She's saved from that. There's nothing I can say that is going to compare to what's going to happen to them. Nothing I can say. So that's church. Hate is a very strong word, and I'm so close to that. I mean, hate to me is just as strong as love. You know what I'm saying? I love a lot, so I could hate a lot too. You know what I'm saying? Equal on both sides. Man of great passions. That's a wide variety because it spreads out and becomes a balance within. If you have great anger, you have great love and compassion too. You've got to find it. Just saying. Yeah. The most angry dude on this planet is the most loving. It just makes them uncomfortable because of the way we have done this world. But it says, okay, shall devour and trample it and break it in pieces. The 10 horns are 10 kings who shall arise from this kingdom. Now, let's say those are popes and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. We have rulers within the Protestant, too. You know what I'm saying? There's a church council up there that tells you exactly what you can read this year and exactly what you're going to be studying all year. No spirit guidance in the church at all. It's all man-guided. So, if somebody is feeling the spirit and, is wanting to speak on a topic, that's not allowed because, well, the church says you need this one. Yeah. Yeah, they hand you a book out when you get in the door, right? A program? Yeah. So like they used to do at the ballpark, when you go out, they give you a program. When they go into church, they give you what? Program in, too. So it's just that way. Is it not? Programming. And another shall arise after them. He shall be different from the first ones. Peter. And shall subdue 3 kings. Catholicism, Judaism, Islam. And he shall speak pompous words against the Most High. Jesus is Lord. Shall persecute the saints of the Most High. The flock are sinners, all not called sinners, but unrighteous, even though Jesus doesn't call righteous, he calls unrighteous. So, and they're all dead, just like I said. That's a perfect example of somebody who loves the Lord and is convinced, and she's not in the church, and convinced of her, I got to pay my tithes, I got to do all this to be able to be saved. I don't think did Jesus ever pass out a collection plate? I never read that. I read where he passed out food to the multitude with very little and made it abundant for everybody. But I never, maybe I missed that, where he was passing out the collection plate from the poor people that he was trying to save. people that had nothing. I mean, they had nothing so bad that they could follow him around for 3 days and just camp out wherever he was at. They didn't have no jobs, no nothing to go to, nothing. But yet, church condemns every one of those people. Every one that Jesus sat with, church condemns. And he shall intend to change times and law. The law doesn't stand no more. The fourth commandment has been thrown out completely and changed to Sunday. First commandment is totally broken. The 10th commandment, thou shalt not covet anything of your neighbors. If you're not keeping up with the Joneses, you're not making it, right? You're not a good enough Christian if you don't have new cars, new houses, new furniture, new clothes, all this kind of stuff, right? Everything you have. Your treasures on earth have been gathered. Now, then the saints shall be given into his hand, Peter's hand. Now that's going to be zealotry at that time. For a time and times and half a time. Now I was using 7 times. Time for a time and times and a half a time. Now I have 3.5 years down here. But let's look and see if we can figure out if that's true. But the court shall be seated, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and destroy it forever. Now this is going to take away Peter's kingdom. The kingdom and the dominion. And now he's already destroyed the other ones. Okay. So now it's his turn to fall. So while he's doing this destroying of all the other ones, we're going to be suppressed, those who are not zealots. Now, it says, consume it and destroy it forever. I tell you, this is their last chance in church. It says forever. Now, this is also, I tell you that it's going to be a new bride. It's not going to be the same. Like, I know, I was here through the Egyptian gods. I was here from way before all that stuff. I can remember when y'all walked this planet. I can remember that. And I tell you, truly, I am not of this world. Not at all. Not at all. And the greatness of the kingdoms under the whole heaven. Oh no, then the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdoms under the whole heaven shall be given to the people, the saints of the Most High. That's when all of them are gone. And the people start, and then you go back to the law of nature. Only the strong survive. And then it says, his kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Period. And church doesn't. That first command in the garden was not to eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That's the Bible. That's the first command that we ever received from God to us, straight to your face. Don't eat from this book. Even children on this planet know that. But yet, you push it on the world. Eve, the one who, your birth pains are going to be very painful because you're going to give birth to a new bride. Right in through here is where you're going to give birth to a new bride, a new religion. Because ain't nobody going to be stupid enough to push Jesus the way you are now. True. People will not accept him. They have rejected him completely. They have issued a divorce decree to Jesus Christ. Okay? Yeah. The bride. So, shall be given to the saints everlasting. This is the end of the account of David. Okay, now I want to jump to, well, here's the goats. We're talking about the goats and all that within the vision. And then, but I want to get to the explanation of the vision. We've all read that. You know, the goat with the 4 horns, and then the goat with the 1 horn came up, and that 1 horn was broke, split off into 4, blah, blah, blah. But let's look at this. As for the broken horn, now let's see, it says, the vision refers, I want to get to the point. So he came and fell on my face. Okay. Then I heard the Holy One speaking. This is 8:13. Then I heard a Holy One speaking to another Holy One, and he said that the certain one who was speaking, how long will the vision be concerning the daily sacrifices and the transgression of desolation, the giving of both the sanctuary and the host to be trampled underfoot? The host, those that are hosting the Holy Spirit. Now, we discussed the Holy Spirit yesterday. Those ones out there, they're hosting that. The Lord of hosts, they host spirits. We all do. We're all dead. Been so a long time. I ain't dead. I'll live forever. I always live forever. Everybody does. I've said that my entire life. Before I ever walked in church, okay? Now, it says here, now, how long will the vision be concerning this and trampled underfoot? Now, he says here, listen to this. And he said to me, for 2,300 days, then the sanctuary shall be cleansed. Now, we're turned over for times and time and a half. Over here, the length of this vision is 2,300 days, 6.3 years. 6.3 years. Times is 3 years, times 3 years, a half, 0.3 to 5. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm thinking that times is. 3 years, not 1 year. So, that was 7 times. 7 times 3 is 2,100 years. And then his kingdom will be preserved. Just thinking. Now, a day is 1,000 years, of course, but we have shown that this timeline works. Like I say, you got to stay on the same plane. It's for all time. Every bit of it is for all time. But that's for times and times. That's 2,100. Huh. Right? Because I took that and I divided 2,300 by 365. It's 6.3 and some change, but it wasn't 6.4. Now, I tell you, the tribulation started October last year. 1 year in, right here at October of this year. November is the election. But you have that 0.3 in there. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Biden just stepped down. Camila just taken off his last time, and now it goes till January. So Hold on just a second there. Now think about this. This is August, September, October, November, December, January. That's 0.5. And then you got Trump for 6, 4 as president, 2 as the one world leader, or that would put it at 6, and then it would be over. Is Trump going to take these 4 years? 2,100 years would be about now since he walked this planet. Which is about the same for me. No, it'd be about 2,100. Because the first 500 years, in the first book of Adam and Eve, the covenant is 5.5 days. And a day was 1,000 years, is what he told Adam then. So that's 5,500 years, right? Now, 5,500 years. The first, perhaps 500 years, we've been looking for flesh. And we covered where Joshua was sent over first. And we also cover in the Acts of Peter and the 12 apostles of them coming over also. But Joshua, if we give him, say, that was Jesus, and then from then on, we're talking the 2,000 years right here within the prophets, the 2,000 years after that was prophets in the flesh, perhaps. You know what I'm saying? That was after they had taken over everybody. And all them wars, I'm telling you, was the Indian Wars. Those were the Indian Wars. Just different names. It's that deep. It's in there. It's also the Crusades are in here. We discussed that yesterday. Or the day before when I was looking for the time. That was when it was. And we're in between that time when the church is standing up, and right here, a king shall arise. That's Trump's, because they're standing up against all that sinners, they think. But we're going to look at this just a little bit more. So let's look at this. Because see, that would be 500 years added to this Bible that they think is flesh. Is not flesh. It's 500 years of spirit. You know what I'm saying? Because Adam and Eve is definitely spirit. We cover that. And Joshua to go to prepare the land in which they're going to inhabit. And then when they all crossed the Jordan and they went against, that was the land that they prepared. Then they all come in and inhabited that land. They thought they were giants. Are spirits small? I don't know. Perhaps giants were but they had destroyed kingdoms in the spiritual realm first. That was 500 years perhaps of battling in the spiritual realm, destroying those spirits so they could take their place. See, that's murder. They're killing spirits. They're working both sides of this. It's a spiritual war battle, right? They have inhabited the spiritual realm. That's where we are, and they're giving it physical substance. This is designed on the land that you came from in the spiritual realm. It's a section of time there brought to life. And I was saying 6,000 years, but perhaps 5.5, maybe it's only 5.5 days to 5.5 covenant, because 5 of it was in spirit before they. And then when he did cross over, and all those battles were the battles of the Americas this time. Or last time. Well, no, there were the battles over there this time. The time from when y'all came, it was here. And it always happens again. They're going to be the next. But anyway, let's keep going on here, because I got something I want to cover. It says, and the king, having fierce features, who understands sinister schemes. Businessman, right? Sinister schemes. Let's be real. Business is cold-blooded. Stab you in the back type stuff. Sinister schemes. Taking over other businesses, stuff like that. Who understands sinister schemes. His power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. The church is going to give him power. And they're giving him power. He, you know what I'm saying? And shall prosper. He shall destroy fearfully. He's going to fear God, but he's going to destroy everybody out of that fear. And shall prosper and thrive, and he shall destroy the mighty and also the holy people. I tell you, if zealotry takes over, they're going to destroy all you. You're going to be slaves. All them people, they're using bulldozers to push down them homeless encampments and stuff like that. They're going to start gathering those people and putting them in work camps, just like the Nazis did. They're going to start putting them in work camps, and Gates and people like that are high up in the government also have ideas about depopulation, just like people accuse Hitler of having, but they're honored now. Depopulate the world, and you guys just love them to death. Fauci's one of those. He would rather have you dead in the ground than have to even deal with you. I mean, they said that. Got it on recordings. Right out of their mouth. Yeah. Population's too high. We need to take it down to, about 1 billion. Or 3 billion, I think, is what they're talking. So, and you think it's not in the plan. All this is a plan. The holy people, though through his cunning he shall cause deceit, claiming God, blah, 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 deceit to prosper under his rule, and he shall exalt himself in his heart. False pride, Trump again. Nebuchadnezzar. He shall destroy many in their prosperity, and he shall even rise against the princes, that's Jesus, let's say, but he shall be broken without human means. Was not Nebuchadnezzar sent out to graves, broken without human means? And the vision of the evenings and the morning, which was told, is true. Therefore seal up the vision, for it refers to many days in the future. So that means these people have to be here, right? And then Daniel fainted and was sick for days. And he tried to get, nobody understood the vision. That's because those people weren't here yet. Understand sinister schemes. That's not Camila. It could be Michelle or Trump. And really, I think Trump's going to take us, because if Michelle got it, it would be more for the people, not for. And Camilla, she's really not for the people. She's for, well, she's a zealot too. So, and zealots ruin everything. But that's kind of the timeline we're working. I'm still narrowing it down, but 6.3, 6.5 around. But he didn't say 25. He said 23. And 500 years. 500 years. So, The Old Testament's off. Now they say from the start of start of the new, from the last of the old was 400 years. That 400 years doesn't exist then. No, it stops and starts right at the same spot. Jesus said, I came first. I came first. So, first. I was here first. And, so let's say the Garden of Eden, the serpent that came into the garden was Jesus Christ, the sacrifice. Okay, that's when God cursed him to crawl on the ground. So Genesis is in the wrong spot. Genesis and Jesus are the same story. He led astray Adam and Eve's, us. So, same time. Then Joshua, Old Testament is pre that. In the spirit part, where they're coming to get, they're destroying all those places and making them their own. And then they hit up Adam and Eve. Well, no, Adam and Eve are representation of the Lord of this world and his spirit and his sons. Now the spirit has placed herself over all that, but times and times and half a time. If times are 3 years, 7 times is 21. 6.5 times and times and a half, that would be 6.5, which can also be the length of the covenant, a 1 day longer, right? That would include this 1,000 years of rest, of 1,000 years of peace then, in 6.5. And then 500 years for cleaning up the mess. Who knows? But that's pretty daggone close to where we're at. Now, I want to look at this. Give me just a minute here. And I'm going to pull this up. It's from the Nag Hammadi. I can't remember which one I pulled. So hold on just a sec. Alright, this is the concept of the great power. It just caught me this morning. I was just flipping through, and this one, since we spoke of the thunder, the perfect mind yesterday, the Holy Spirit, I wanted to see about that great power here. Who will know our great power? He who will know our great power will become invisible, and fire will not be able to consume him, but it will purge and destroy all of your possessions. For everyone in whom my form will appear will be saved from the age of 7 days up to 120 years. I didn't read it. From everyone in whom my form will appear will be saved from the age of 7 days. That's this cycle. Up to 120 years. Those whom I constrain to gather all that is fallen and the writings of our great power, in order that he may inscribe your name in the great light, and their thoughts and their works may be ended, that they may be purged and be scattered and be destroyed, and be gathered in the place which no one in sees, the grave. But you will see me, and you will prepare your dwelling places in our great power. You will prepare your dwelling places in our great power. See, they're gonna those. Oh, I wonder if those in the ground are creating aeons and they don't know it. Perhaps as long as that thought is there, their spirit projects out, but is not theirs, will be taken and creates an aeon, and they are unaware, but they give power to this guy in that aeon because that's who they believe in. So, like I said, Og was their belief system. They had given power to him, just like I got power from people. Just like Jesus got power from people. And same with the Lord of this world. Got power from the people. And works may be ended, that they may be purged and be scattered and be destroyed and be gathered in a place which no one, that's in the grave. But you will see me and you will prepare, see, because they believe that I'm going to stand in front of God. Perhaps that's the point. They don't have to dig you up. You've already been marked. It didn't say they're digging the bodies up. They just said they're marking them. None of that stuff. I wonder if you automatically throw your conscious thought into an aeon. But you won't have spirit because that'll be taken from you. You won't have life. Like perhaps the Lord of this world. And you're just there under his rule for an eternity. Maybe that's who those guys are. They've created aeons and they're stuck in them. Know how that was departed. Know how what has departed came to be, in order that you may know how to discern what lives to become. What lives or what lives to become. Of what appearance that aeon is, or what kind it is, or how it will come to be. Why do you not ask what kind you will become, or rather how you came to be? When two spirits a man, flesh, and a woman, flesh, come together, in the right circumstance, you can bring about a spirit also. Like I said, that's probably their first time in flesh. The flood you're experiencing is both physical and that's all the people coming here from other countries. That's a flood. And it's all the spirits. Those are spirits also coming here. There's a duplicity to that. Okay? We are spirits. You can see it in the flesh, but truly those are spirits coming here. You're calling them in Jesus' name. Telling them they're, when you tell people you can't do something, they do it. Discern what size the water is, that it is immeasurable and incomprehensible, both its beginning and its end. It supports the earth. It blows in the air where the gods and the angels are. But in him who is exalted above all these, there is the fear and the light, and in him are my writings revealed. I have given them as a service to the creation of the physical things, for it is not possible for anyone to stand without that one, nor is it possible for the aeon to live without him. It is he who possesses what is in him by discerning it in purity. Then behold the Spirit, and know where he is. He gave himself to men that they may receive life from him every day. Since he has his life within him, he gives to them all. Then the darkness together with Hades took the fire, and he, the darkness, will release from himself what is mine. Oh. Then the darkness. Then behold the Spirit, and know where he is. He gave himself to men that they may receive life from him every day, since he has his life within him. He gives to them all. Then the darkness together with Hades took the fire, the holy fire, and will release from himself what is mine. You have given a divorce decree. That's a release from himself. What is his is the mother that gives you life, the conscious thought that gives you the ability to listen to your mother. But you call her deceitful above all others. The heart is deceitful above all others. Wow. Release from himself. You gave a divorce decree to your life. So he's going to give you an aeon that he can use and keep you there. Wow. Release from what is not mine. His eyes were not able to endure my light. And the only people who cannot endure the light of God are the people in this Bible, right? Because that's what it says to them. It doesn't say that to them. It says it to you, those called. After the spirits and the waters moved, the remainder came into being. The whole aeon of the creation and their powers, the fire came forth from them, and the power came in the midst of the powers. And the powers desired to see my image, and the soul became its replica. Wow, they wanted to see his fire. Man. See, and then through that power, it is a wonder among wonders that flesh can create a spirit. Okay? True. All that praying and all that kind of stuff, you're giving him power, power, power. That's his reward. Man. This is the work that came into being. See what it is like that before it comes into being, it does not see. Pardon me. Because the aeon of the flesh came to be in the great bodies, and they were apportioned to them long days in the creation. But when they had polluted themselves and had entered into the flesh, the father of the flesh, the water, avenged himself. For when he had found that Noah was pious and worthy, and it is the father of the flesh who holds the angels in subjection. See, hello, the Lord of this world. I tell you that. That's a requirement. Like the number one requirement in the whole daggone book. The number one requirement. He found Noah worthy, and it is the father of the flesh who holds angels in subjection. He shows mercy upon whom he wants. That's what it says. Man. And he, Noah, preached piety for 120 years. And no one listened to him. And he made a wooden ark, and whom he had found entered it. And the flood took place. Whom he had found. Not some stupid animal. Man. And whom he had found, you know. Thus Noah was saved with his sons, for indeed the ark had not been meant for man to enter. For if indeed the ark had not been meant for man to enter, then the water of the flood would not have come in this way. He intended and planned to save the gods and the angels and the powers, the greatness of all these, and the nourishment and the way of life. And he moves them from the aeon, and nourishes them in the permanent places. And the judgment of the flesh was unleashed. Only the work of the power stood up. Wow. In this way, he intended and planned to save the gods and the angels and the powers, the greatness of all of these, and the nourishment and the way of life. And he moves them from the aeon and nourishes them in the permanent places. And the judgment of the flesh was unleashed. Next, the physique aeon. It is a small one which is mixed with bodies by begetting in the soul and defiling them. Ooh. For the first defilement of the creation found strength, and it begot every work, many works of wrath, anger, envy, malice, hatred, slander, contempt, and war, lying and evil counsels, sorrows and pleasures, baseness, and defilements, falsehoods and diseases, evil judgments, that they decree according to their desire. These are the guys locked up. Yet you are sleeping, dreaming dreams. Wake up and return. Taste and eat the true food. Hand out the word and the water of life. Cease from evil lusts and desires and the teachings of the onomins, evil heresies that have no basis. I'm going to have to look that word up. Give me a minute. Okay. This is cool. From Greek, unlike any member of a religious group of the 4th century that represents an extreme form of Arianism, a Christian heresy that held that the essential difference between God and Christ was that God had always existed while Christ was created by God. It says that in the Bible too. It says that. And that's true. God created me. God created everybody. Okay? God is not created. Everything after God is created by God. Okay? Fact. God is the only thing that is unbegotten. The only unbegotten one. So that's true. But that was a heresy to believe that. Ooh, and that's still the same today. A member of an extreme division, Arians of the 4th century AD, who declared that since the Son of God is a created being, he is unlike God in essence. So that's a half-truth. But think about it. Everything after God, well, everything after the mother-father combination, everything after that they were, God looked upon the waters and she stared back. Okay? So she's always been there first, before the Father. I'm just saying. Let's set the record straight. That's truth. Everything after that, though, created by God in the Spirit first. Spirits were first. We were first. Flesh came after. It was given that by the Lord of this world. All right, give me a second. I'm going to pull this back up. So this dude is telling them to, it says, cease from the evil lusts and desires and teachings of the anominas, which is that evil heresies that have no basis. Now, what I just said was that only one that is unbegotten, only one, the Son is begotten. Okay? That was the union between the mother and the father to produce the Son. So the Son is begotten by the Father. Now the Father can grant you power, but that power is not yours. You understand? He gives power to whom he wants. He can take it back, give it to you, take it back, doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So it's all under the control of the mother father. Son is begotten. I don't care what anybody says. The mother father produced the Son that's begotten. And the power comes from them. We don't just take it. Grants power to whom he wants. All that. So Jesus is begotten. I don't care what anybody says. And he's begotten just as I am. He was in the land of forgetfulness too. But it says he came complete through the virgin birth. Had all his faculties, no blindness inhibiting him, all that. But he wasn't given that. He subjected himself. He submitted to the law. You have to submit to the law. And Jesus did that. He's your example. Paul submitted to the law, even as an apostle. He was granted that Nazarite or Nazarene rating where they shave their head. Zealots, pretty much, for the law. They follow it completely within themselves. So, and it's not that they hold others accountable for that law. No, they hold themselves accountable to that law. Okay? Jesus held himself accountable to the law because he's called to the law. The people he was talking to were not called to the law. Peter and all them took it that they were being called to the law. They were not. See, I know in whom I call. Peter betrayed Jesus 3 times. Third time's a charm. I'm going to hold off here. And I'll start with this tomorrow. Well, I can't really say that. Lord willing, I'll get the rest of this tomorrow. We're halfway through it, but I want to hold on. You know, it's not hard. It is not hard to hallow the Lord of this world. It's going to happen one way or another. I don't care what anybody says. This book is law here, okay? It contains all religions within these pages, okay? So all of you are held to this book. So I know the books you're reading contain the same laws. Islam's in here. Judaism's in here. Catholics are in here. So are Christians. Or Protestants. How's that? So all of you will hallow the Lord of this world. Islam, you think you're good. Whoopee, you get to come back again and again and again. Aren't you tired? You know, those words. Are you tired? Aren't you tired? Have you had enough? You say that to addicts. You know, people who are strung out and stuff. Are you tired? Have you had enough? It's a question. They can answer or not. But if you take a deep look inside and ask yourself that question, are you tired yet? Have you had enough of all this? Or do you want more of all this? May the Holy Spirit guide you. May God, the Father, the Creator of it all, protect your soul.